An act of vandalism on a religious statue in a South Boston neighborhood is being investigated. The statue was found shattered at the Old Colony housing development. A woman living in South Boston filed a police report and is hoping the culprit will come forward. A few years ago, Boston's housing authority put a fence to protect the statues of the neighborhood. The one vandalized is one of the 3 sculptures of South Boston. Electric scooters are trending here in Boston, as Brookline is the first city to use them here in Massachusetts. In other news, a son of a police deputy is arrested and now faces charges on 3 counts of arson. According to the BBC, Holden Matthews set 3 historically black churches in Louisiana on fire over the course of 10 days. No injuries were reported. According to the affidavit, a gas can was found at one of the crime scenes, which was traced back to a Walmart and then to Matthews' credit card. Each count against Matthew holds up to a sentence of up to 15 years in jail. A survey released overnight shows Massachusetts commuters are getting fed up. According to the survey, 21% of commuters said the state transportation system was working well. However, 66% said action to fix it is needed. The most anger and frustration is directed to the MBTA for causing commuters to be late to work. The frustration was higher in Greater Boston, with 53% commuters saying they have considered either looking for a job or leaving the area. Rockland County officials declared a state of emergency, banning people from public places because of an outbreak of measles. Over 150 people contracted the viral infection, many of which are children. Those who are under 18 years old are banned from shops, schools, and houses of worship if they are not vaccinated against measles. The ban will remain in effect for 30 days or until the person gets vaccinated for it. The Yawkey commuter rail station will undergo a name change the day before the Red Sox home opener on April 8th. The Boston Globe reports the station will now be called Lansdowne, taking after the street closely associated with Fenway Park. This decision comes about 1 year after there was a public reevaluation of long-standing racism allegations against Red Sox owner Tom Yawkey. The British Prime Minister is facing more calls to resign amidst chaos concerning the vote to have Britain leave the European Union. The so-called Brexit is at the top of the agenda as members of the European Parliament are meeting in Strasbourg. The meeting is taking place while British lawmakers are preparing to vote on alternatives about how to execute the Brexit decision. A Houston high school now has a dress code for parents, not just students. The new rules state that parents cannot come to campus wearing curlers, shower caps, pajamas, or certain shorts or leggings. Some parents are calling the dress code insulting, particularly if they are responding to an emergency at school. But school officials claim this code is all about keeping the atmosphere dignified and free of distractions. Boston Mayor Martin Walsh said he supports the idea of having safe injection sites for drug users. According to the Boston Globe, Walsh is aware that his support will not make the sites simply appear, for federal laws first have to change. Safe injection sites would allow those who use drugs to be overseen by those who can assist them in the case of an overdose. There are over 100 sites in Western countries as well as in Canada, but there are no sites in the United States that are currently permitted. Workers are searching school grounds in Arlington today after 2 young girls were pricked with a hypodermic needle outside of Gibbs Middle School. The 2 were outside playing as part of an after-school program when one of them picked up the needle and got it stuck in their hand. The other young girl tried to remove the needle when she got pricked. They both received medical attention and the needle is being tested to see if additional care is necessary. The town of Medford is using 3D crosswalks after several well-researched pitches from 2 elementary schoolers. Eric and Issa pitched the idea after they noticed that drivers were speeding around their school. They got the idea for 3D crosswalks after seeing success at getting drivers to slow down in other countries like China. Last week, a local artist painted the optical illusion in front of the school in hopes of getting drivers to step on their brakes. The city plans to install more 3D crosswalks at other elementary schools to promote safer driving in Medford school zones. In other news, a Newton District Court judge is accused of helping an undocumented immigrant escape from being detained by an ICE officer. The state Supreme Judicial Court suspended Shelley Joseph without pay yesterday. The city of Leominster is asking residents to help report potholes for a special prize. Spring has sprung, and in Massachusetts, that means it's pothole season. In order to fill in the potholes quickly, the mayor of Leominster and the Department of Public Works have partnered with an Aroma Joe's to offer 1 free cup of coffee for every pothole reported. The Fall River community is joining together in a vigil after an act of hate shook the community. Hundreds of people gathered in the Hebrew Cemetery in Fall River after dozens of gravestones were vandalized with anti-Semitic graffiti and toppled. No arrests have been made in connection to the case. The vigil was said to be a message to the perpetrator that the community stands together against the hate.